Um,
Hey
who's
everyone, happy Friday. It is another episode of Behind the Box. I'm your girl, Carrie Croft from the Vitamin M Box, M standing for all things melanin. We are a curated lifestyle box that is provided to you to give you the utmost self-care with while celebrating and supporting Black owned brands. And we are going into March. We are ending Black History Month off with a bang, and we are going into Women's History Month. And we are discussing the March box. The March box is super special. Tonight is extremely special because I have my day one on with me tonight. I'm talking about best friends since we were 13 years old. I am honored to introduce you guys to Kara Sax. She is the CEO of the Sax Agency based in Los Angeles. And she hails from Chi-Town. She will proudly rep it. Had a little stint in Richmond. That's where we met. And a proud Howard University alum. She is also the co-author of the number one Amazon bestseller, Your Win Within. Kara.
Carrie? Oh my God. I've been waiting for an opportunity to talk to your audience about how you started, boy.
so
Waiting for
so
the opportunity to
so
tell all the drama and all the secrets. She did
so
not begin, as you see, like this, people. She did not begin this way. This is
live
called lots of therapy, personal development work, growth.
my win within. Working
She
on it
found her
still.
one within way later. And just kidding. She has always, hi,
So as you
everybody.
know, we've experienced life together. So we hold each other's secrets in a extremely locked vault.
Absolutely. It's
And
nothing
we
better than to have somebody who can keep a secret. And on this screen are two people who know how to keep secrets. So I appreciate you for that, Carrie.
oh, I love you
I
and
appreciate
thank
for not
you.
having to kill you.
That part. That part. So thank you. You are so busy. So I'm so glad that we were able to get this in and kick off Women's History Month and end off Black History Month with this. I tell you all the time, I'm like one of your biggest cheerleaders. Not ashamed to say like your number one fan. I'm so proud of you to see how far you've come with your brand, your business. Um, I I knew you've always been a boss, right? I knew you were a boss, but this summer in LA where I just was behind the scenes watching and observing you and the Saks agency, y'all, when you talk about running a business, when I say a well-oiled machine, like so shout out to Tamara, shout out to your team. Your team is so tight. So just watching you just multitask, motherhood, your man, the business, it's amazing to watch and truly motivated me to get everything in order on this end. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about your journey to entrepreneurship and what was that light that said, all right, I'm going to just jump in and do this.
Well, first, thank you for that introduction. And thank you for the 100 years of friendship that we had and being able to say that we are each other's biggest cheerleader and champion. Um, I remember when you told me about the concept for this box and just not being able to sleep with excitement for you.
Hold
So
up, put a pin on that. I cannot not mention the Saks agency is completely behind the creative aesthetics of Vitamin M. So every time when you guys are like, "Oh my god, that's a dope logo. Oh my god, your website is beautiful." Thank the Saks agency. Okay, I had to say that. Now continue.
and I would also like to add that she paid for it. There was no hookups. Like I
Right.
invoiced her. I maybe discounted my prices a little bit, but let's be clear. Like this is a woman who patroned my business and who I also patroned hers. And I think that's important piece to talk about as we enter in Women's History Month, about how we support each other. And that does not mean giving each other the hookup all the time. That means when you launch something, then actually pulling out, my credit card and being the first to pull out my credit card to support you, and vice versa. And that means a lot to me. So I have a lot of friends who have also done that for me. And I'm very grateful that my book of business has been built on not just some of the biggest brands in the world, but also the ones that mean the most to me, which are my friends for 25 plus years, 30 years, that have enough trust in me as their friend to take and to build and create with them.
Yeah. And that's very important to note. Like when our friends and the people that we love are building something, like, stop with the handouts. If you love them, you want them to eat. We all want to see each other eat, right? So yeah, that's a given. That's a given that we support, and it's refreshing that we truly support each other. Yeah, so let's talk about this journey, man. Your journey to the Sax agency, entrepreneurship, because it ain't easy. It ain't for no pump.
So I say, I'll start this off by saying that this is really water in this cup. Sometimes my candor makes people feel that it's other things, but this is truly water. And when I think about the journey that, we've come on, it really deserves to be straight vodka in this cup, because it has been a journey. It started really over a bottle of Jack Daniels. My business partner and I decided that we wanted to create and write a story about our world, about observing people who were in the world of professional athletes and their wingman. And so we tried to go on a journey to sell that story, and it did not work, because we went out and we almost got it sold, but then it didn't sell. And so, but along that journey, what we did is we came to Los Angeles and we hired who we were told were some of the best marketing agencies, the best advertising agencies in the world. And we were disappointed in what we found, because back then we found that people were either out of the box creative and had no project management or business acumen or true strategy behind what they did, or they understood the strategy and then back then didn't understand culture and edge and all of those things.
Right.
Because now culture seems like, a word like love, but back then there was no connection to our audience and to our people like what we were searching for. So we became the agency that we could not find accidentally. I always say that the legendary Miss Debbie Allen was our first client. She didn't know at the time that she was. I am happy to admit that, Debbie, Miss A, is opening a school very soon in the next 8 weeks, and she's still a client to the day. I was honored to get a call to sit on a Zoom with her recently as she embarked and entrusted us again with her brand. So I am 100% always going to be indebted to Debbie Allen for the love that she showed us. So that's how we started.
I love that story. As you know, we're multitasking. We're mamas, and our babies are still up, so we multitasking tonight.
That was me just checking my 6-year-old in the back, still needing to understand that we are on a Zoom. So he is passionate about wanting to cut his mango right now. And
I love mango too, Kai. Well, thank you. I love to hear that story. I think that is super dope. The Debbie Allen fan. And I'm excited to see, where this goes with her new school. So deserved, so well deserved, and needed in the community for dancers.
And talking about Black women supporting Black women, let's talk about Shonda Rhimes being the #1 financier for that and the contributor to that. So Miss
Wow.
Rhymes Performing Center is what the school is named after. So big shout out to Shonda Rhimes, to Debbie Allen for also, for us being able to have this example, one of the many examples of friends like us supporting each other's dreams and businesses and working together to finance it, to fuel. So these women are not just legends because of the things that we see from them on TV. They are epic and legendary to me behind the scenes because I know of their authentic friendship. I know how they support each other. I know what it feels like to write a big check for your sister. And so I'm really honored to be a part of that project.
And that's what we got. We like don't ever say Black women don't stick up for each other, don't look out for each other. We do.
I know 100 million of them. So if you need, I would
Listen.
need a long time to list. I mean, I don't have to look far. I have some in this room with me right now. I mean, I never have to look far to see, to see the support of particularly Black women in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you talked about how you started the Sax agency with your partner Tamara Keller. I'm sorry, my 6-year-old is trying to show me art while I'm talking to you. I'll show them in a little bit, baby. I'm on.
Okay. Shout out to my godson.
Yes, yes. He hears your voice. That's all it is. He wants to show Auntie Kara all the things. Let's talk about this book, Your Win Within.
Yes.
What made you guys start this project?
I think like as we were embarking on our 10-year, soon to be 10-year journey in being in business.
10 years. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you. And every year, Tamara and I sit down and we do organizational goal setting, and we look at the things that we accomplished in that year, and we look at how we're going to put the gas pedal and blow the ceiling off again for the next year. And in this year, we had to really think about like not just the wins, because we were fortunate enough every year in our agency to experience growth, which is apparently very rare for businesses. So we never had a year where we have not grown our business. But it hasn't always felt like that. So on paper, we see, wow, we may have grown our business from last year, but there have been some incredibly challenging times that have caused us to be stressed out, caused us to lose deals, caused us to set us back in many ways. And when Tamara and I were thinking about what were the themes of our successes and our losses, we realized that self-sabotage and our ability to conquer our self-sabotage was the common denominator of the intersection of wins and losses. What I mean by that is that having a business partner is amazing. Like, I have the opportunity to have someone who complements my weaknesses, and all of that. But that also means that we have two unique, different sets of bad habits.
Right. And personalities.
And so I say that we wrote this book because it was the intersection of wins, it was the intersection of losses, it was the intersection of figuring out how to continue to get better and to continue to grow. And then it was our gift and our legacy to the world. Because when I think of, building not just one, but two, multi-million-dollar businesses, that was not easy. There were no real handouts for us. This was built brick by brick from the ground up, and it was built based off of learning from each and every one of our mistakes. And we made a ton of them.
Yeah.
And we're still making them. And so this book really came as our personal guide to keeping each other accountable, to keeping ourselves accountable, to bringing our sisters, our brothers, our friends along with us to say, look, I don't care if you're doing brain surgery, running your own business, teaching, working in the Target line, in flipping burgers in McDonald's. There are certain things that we all have in common. And if we can search to find our win within and can conquer our own self-sabotage and get out of our own way, then you're winning. You're winning.
100%. So where do you think you got to this place where things weren't really going the way that they were going, and you're like, it's hard for people to take accountability and take a look inside themselves, like say, okay, self, you need to fix this. Let me work on me and fix this. When do you get to a place where you realize you're self-sabotaging and you started taking accountability and so you can start the work on yourself?
I think there's a chapter in this book it's called Circle Check. And your circle check is where you look to your left, you look to your right, you look at the people who you speak to most often, and you literally identify their influences in your life, their positive traits, some of the things that you've noticed that they self-sabotage. And I was the last to the party. I had a group of friends that were all on this, going to talk to their psychiatrist, and they were all into personal development work. And I just kind of sat and listened and was to that party. You were one of them. And I kind of watched the emotional growth that they were experiencing, and in admiration of it, truly. But I happened to be a part of a very great circle of people who were committed to getting better. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to break it down to the least common name. It's like, how do you get better, a little bit better every day? I had a bunch of friends who were like on that. And I would just watch, like, wait, they're always like trying to get better and like be accountable and using these words and being self-aware and coaching themselves. And I'm like, wait, so I was kind of late to that party. But it happened by having a great circle and being an observant of the results of that, the impact.
Right.
And that was how I joined this party. And then also, like, every big deal we ever lost, every relationship that I ever burned, I really took the time to take a pause and see what just happened, and not what happened, but what was my piece in that. Like, how did I,
not what did you do to me?
Not what did you do to me?
How did I take part in this? What was my part in that?
What just happened? And so, and there was a lot of what just happened.
Same.
Like, I hear a lot of definitions of self-sabotage, and like, I thought about it, and my definition of self-sabotage is like, what is the outcome that I want to achieve in any situation, and did that outcome happen?
Right.
And a lot of times that was no. No, it was not.
No. So you were like, what am I going to do to fix this? What do I need to change?
Yes.
And I got to say, you really, when you guys announced that, it was available for pre-order and it was available, the workbook, and we'll talk about you having an joined workbook, because that's brilliant. You hit a pain point. Because it went number one, overnight?
It did. It was an
overnight
Amazon bestseller in about 18 hours.
Unbelievable. So
we did no paid promotion, guys. We're a marketing firm. We marketed ourselves, but like, I'm embarrassed to say, we did not put marketing dollars into our book. So
no sponsored ads. Totally organic.
Totally organic. I'm proud, but also embarrassed as a
marketing firm. We have some comments here. Jennifer Smith. She said these kids are like, that's family Zoom call. Yeah, we talking. Melissa Lee West said, real talk, mistakes are expected. Jennifer also said, kind of reminds me of something Will Smith talks about in his book. When his dad had him build a wall, he thought it was impossible, but his dad reminded him not to focus on the wall, but to focus on one brick at a time. I haven't read that.
Let's talk about that. So Daddy-O, I read that book. It was one of my favorite books of the year. I was actually have had the opportunity to work with that family. So Harry Smith yesterday was on a Zoom, which is Will's brother that he talks about so much in the book, Jennifer. And um, that book, Carol Dweck's book, Growth Mindset, were huge influences in my personal story. Not that that book came out after we were writing this, but the thought, the mindset work of what that takes and understanding. I always say, like, people are like, what's the parenting advice? I'm like, read chapter 5 of the growth mindset. That's it. It talks about what you just talked about, Jennifer. It talks about how, like, I don't care if my kid gets an A or B or C, D or F. I care that they did their best. I care that they really worked hard in that process, and I'm just focused on, the journey as opposed to the final end result. So
Yeah, I need to crack open that book. I haven't read that book yet. I do have someone that chimed in. I'm sorry, when it comes in from the group, I don't see your name. But they say, because our people are scared of help, accountability, awareness, resilience. It's who we are and makes us better. And I don't even know if it's that we're scared, but you go back to talking about your circle. Your circle is so important. And I always say, I don't ever want yes people around me. Everybody that is in my close circle, Kara is number one, hold me accountable to my crap. Or I seek the advice when I know I'm going left. Like, yo, am I tripping? Was this me? Like, talk to me. You need those people to help hold you accountable. It's not a one-person job.
And let's talk about the fear. So I think, like, a little, I want to address what the comment was. When I think about that, I think historically, when you think of us as Black people, we were taught to just continue to work and continue to do, and we weren't really given the grace to emote, to feel, to do any, to have some grace with what was, being human, really embodied. So I think that we were taught by generations of how to not care for ourselves, and prioritize our mental health and wellness, our personal development, because really we were so busy with just being resilient and going to the next thing. And so I think that from a generational standpoint was passed down to us, and not being able to prioritize personal development work. So now that it's important that each and every one of us break that cycle of saying, how do we in fact hold each other accountable, be very intentional about our self-sabotage, being very intentional about what are our flaws, what are, things that we need to work on that are not perfect. We need to pay attention to the things. I mean, there's a chapter in this book that talks about your parents, right? Or the people who read. I find it interesting. My mom lives with us. She's actually downstairs. So I'm going to whisper during this piece of it. But, like, she had some traits that were passed down that weren't great. But she had some amazing traits that made me who I am to this day. And I needed to be careful not to duplicate what I saw, that I was reared by, and be very intentional about identifying what did the people who raised me, what were some of the self-sabotaging traits that I witnessed with those influences
that you felt repeating within yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so what I love about Your Win Within in the project, it wasn't just about you and Tamara telling your story. You guys decided to create a workbook for us to work on ourselves. So let's talk about the adjoining workbook with your book.
It is work. I mean, like, I always say, like, whenever you're doing personal development work, you need to go into it understanding that, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. There may be times where you need to kind of close it up and not go through it all at once, because it's a lot to unpack when you're really being truthful about who's staring back at you in the mirror. And for me, in going through this workbook, it also required me being brave enough to go to the people who I loved most and asking them to evaluate, to critique, to give feedback that was not, great feedback on how I can get better. And it was hard to hear.
Yeah.
It was hard to hear because you know, when you went back and you kind of unpacked what people thought, I realized that every last one of those comments were valid.
Mm.
And they were
Wow.
valid because the people who were in my circle said them and I trusted them and I know that they loved me and had their best. These are not haters, guys.
Yeah. These are
So
people who love you and want to see the best in you.
yeah. So I mean, I remember one of the comments was like, "You're reactionary." And I talk about reactionary people. And I used to like wear that like a badge of honor. Like, oh, I'm
I'm giggling because it's true. But
reactionary. Like I'm and when I thought about what that really meant, about it just means that I'm a puppeteer, I'm a puppet to you, meaning you can make me dance and make me respond how you want me to.
mm.
And when I thought
Mm.
about that, I was like, wait a minute, I'm a leader,
Yeah. That.
follower,
Come
but
on,
wait,
Kara.
is being reactionary a trait of a real true leader? Not so much, because now I am really duplicating your energy.
Yep.
So I am like, yes, maybe I do have some semblance and a history of being reactionary. I really try to fight that. So if you give me stank, I'm trying to really realize, okay, it is natural for me to give you stank back. However, I am really digging deep to give you joy back because I refuse to
I
allow you to control me.
And I'm so glad you said that because that's kind of like therapy for me, Kara. I'm still working through that because as recent as last year, I'm like, I'm matching energies because
Mm.
y'all are tripping. And you're
Generate your
right.
own energy in
You're right.
2022. In
In
2020.
2022, generate your own energy. No
Yes.
longer matching energies. I'm gonna rise
No more
above.
being reactionary. Don't say that in your therapy session. Like, that's not cool, guys. That don't try to nip that in the bud. Try to be
Yeah, for
intentional
real.
about your awareness about what really being reactionary is all about.
Yeah, yeah, for real. I am so sorry. I'm trying to read comments in different areas. Um, but I'm too excited to dig in this book. I got the workbook from Amazon and I wasn't going to touch it until I started cracking open your book. But now that I have you on, I have not, outside of my VIP newsletter subscribers, people don't know what's in the box. So I have Kara on now. Now that you know, the March box will include your win within. Show them, Kara. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share that with my subscribers. It's self development. It's so important. And like I ended up getting a spiritual coach. I was like, okay, I gotta work on some things, and it's not pretty. It's not always pretty, but it's necessary. It's necessary for growth. It's necessary for just a positive outlook on life in your household, especially us as mothers and wives and trying to maintain your household. You can't carry on all of that baggage that you want to hold on to while still trying to keep a positive and happy home. So yeah, I can't wait. I say all that.
Few traits that happen in your relationship, that happen in your at work, that happen in all areas of your life, finances. Their self-sabotage doesn't just touch one area of your life. It
Mm-hmm.
you know Me being impulsive, me being reactionary hits all of those areas and all of those buckets. So it's important to realize that, like, for you to really be successful in your finances and your careers and your home life, like these traits, you got to really try to focus on working on them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, I am speaking with Kara Sax. She is the CEO of the Sax Agency and co author of Your Win Within, and also my bestie since we were 13. Kara, I'm so excited to have you on, man. We need to do this more often. Like we don't, and I'm so glad that I was able to come out to LA and see you. I needed that. Like you, like it's been a rough few years for everybody.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how much you need your people until
I
you guys finally. Go ahead.
No, you're right. I needed it just as much. And so I think that people, God, the universe, however you want to say it, like arrived at the perfect time. I got a question in my text message.
Uh-huh.
Someone wants me to answer how do parents self-sabotage with their children?
Mm,
Question.
good question.
So recently, I got called on a three-way. That still happens, and it was a three-way with two dads, and they were like, "Oh, should we let our daughter be flown out to visit a guy, visit a boy at a school?"
Oh,
And should the boy pay for her to be flown out? And the dads were like, absolutely not, no, because I don't want him thinking that if he flies her out, that
something's expected.
she
Yes.
owes him something.
Hmm.
And I was like, no. How we self-sabotage is this. Like, let your daughters get flown out, however you want
Whatever
to
the
say.
word is in 2022.
Yes, because here's the thing: how you self-sabotage as parents, dads. I want to talk to the dads. I think sometimes we forget about them. Is like mindset wise. If you're telling your daughters, "Hey, if he buys your ticket, then you may feel obligated, or he may feel obligated." You're putting in that mind that when he does pay for dinner or when he does spend his money, that you should in fact feel
Obligated to do
like
it.
you owe him something.
Hmm.
And so I always tell that story because it's something that is a little bit more progressive. I don't believe in, allowing the mindsets and the old archaic ways that some our parents taught us of saying like, oh, if he pays for this, then maybe he will feel that's his problem. That's
Yeah,
not your problem.
that's your problem.
Um,
Hmm.
and so, these are some ways that you can self sabotage as a parent by, again, duplicating some of the archaic mindsets that we've been victims of.
Yeah, and I understand. I understand that fear. How old is their daughter? Do you know? Does it matter? How-
18 or 19?
yeah, I understand that. I understand that fear. Um, in being parents. But you're right. When you do think of it that way, you don't want to set the precedent that she feels like she's obligated to do that.
Yeah, I tell my son, he's 6. Like, you gonna fly a girl out? She don't owe you nothing. If you're gonna, put your credit card down for dinner, she doesn't owe you anything. That's just a part of, if you choose to want to,
Court them.
court a woman that way, that's a choice that I think that is a great choice.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't want you to feel that she is in fact entitled, or I mean, she owes you anything, or you're
Right.
entitled to anything other than the fact that you get her company at that dinner.
Right.
Um, you get her to arrive at your door. That's what you just paid for, son.
Hmm.
Um, so
And shout out to my friend Joy. She texts me. She is currently watching this with her 17-year-old son. So thank you, Joy, for watching.
hi, Joy.
Um,
Tell your son, look, you gotta
no
fly him out. You gotta
expectations.
fly him out.
Oh my God. So if you guys are just tuning in, I am Carrie with the Vitamin M Box, M standing for all things melanin. We are a curated lifestyle box, curated with the perfect quality items and products to make you make self-care a priority while celebrating and supporting Black owned brands. Build our community, support our businesses, and tell our stories. I started Behind the Box the beginning of this year because I wanted you guys to really meet the brains behind the brands, meet these dope entrepreneurs that are putting their love into their brands, their products. It's important. I always say it's so important to hear their story, to hear their journey. You understand the attachment and the love that's behind what they put out. So the March box is open for subscriptions. So one product is going to be in there, and I feel like that's enough. Your win within.
Close the box down.
Right. Go to the vitaminmbox.com and subscribe to the Vitamin M Box. You will receive Your Win Within, written by both Kara Sax and Tamara Keller. Shout out to Tamara. I'm so sorry she couldn't make it tonight. Maybe we can do another interview so you guys can meet Tamara. She's another dope soul. And just to watch you guys do what you do with the Sax Agency, it's beyond. You guys need a reality show, a documentary, or something just behind it. Like there's a story on as how you guys have grown and how you two work together. There's really a story there.
It's a blessing. I mean, I'm grateful for her. I always say, like, she's the yin to my yang. I'm very grateful for her patience, for all the things that she does. That she does a lot of the non-glamorous work for our team, and it's always appreciated. I also want to shout her out. She just got me a round trip, all expense paid for 2 trip to Italy.
Oh, come on now.
Because of one of our clients who, when you are one of their top spenders, then they do that. So thank you, Tamara. She couldn't go because she sits on the board, one of the board members for a regional for WeBank, and I'm so grateful that conflicts with the trip to Italy. So
so you can have a good time in Italy. Nothing like partnership.
Nothing like partnership.
So if you can name one tip on how to not self-sabotage in personal life. Let's talk about personal life.
Yeah.
What would that one tip be?
I think when you wake up every morning, you need to check in with yourself, and you need to inventory what your mood is and how you're feeling. If you wake up in the morning, you feel sad, you do not need to be getting on calls and start your day before you refill what is depleted. You are sad before you start trying to parent your children, before you start trying to lead or go to your work. What is in you spills out. I mean, and so if you don't replenish what is depleted and check in with yourself and be able to kind of alter what's happening in your body, that's very natural.
Yeah. Say that, because we tend to.
It's natural. I mean, you wake up. Who in the hell is joyful every morning when they wake up?
Yeah.
No. That's just not real. And then throughout the day, your spouse can say something, your coworker, your employee, a stranger on the street can say something, and all of a sudden you are thrown off your game. And when that happens, you need to check in with yourself again. And you need to replenish what is depleted before you maneuver to the next set of action that you're doing. Because as sure as my name is Kara Sax, every single time that I have self-sabotaged has not wholly been a result of that particular incident. It is because progressively, as the day has gone on, I have replenished what was depleted, and now I'm not able to, in a very sound mind, be able to react or respond to the issue at hand. So constantly you're checking in with yourself and getting to know yourself. When you should be having that call, a relationship, if you're and your spouse or you and your significant other are, having a disagreement, it might not be the time after you have had a bad day.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't know too many people who are able to just leave it, take the bad day that they had and then go in and just
carries right on over.
You got to be in tune with yourself, and you got to check in with yourself. So I always say, check in with yourself in the morning, replenish what is depleted. Then, and the second that something happens that throws you off your emotional scale, whether you're sad or whether you're angry, really fix that in that moment, address that in that moment, then proceed with the next piece of your day or the next problem that you need to solve.
That's so good. Got comments in from the group saying so good, Kara, gems. Um, and I think another part of that too is, and that's something that I've learned as well, establishing those boundaries and being vocal about it.
Yeah.
So when you're not having a good day at at work or during the day and you come home and your spouse or whomever, they could probably say something to you that's just not even that big, but it's irritating your soul because you've had a bad day. But you can
Yeah.
say, yo, not right now.
Yeah.
I need a minute. And
Yeah.
hopefully they respect those boundaries and leave it alone.
It's
Um,
important.
it's important. It really is.
I also think this world, the time that we're in, will kind of have us kind of screwed up right now. Like we're in this time where you're like, well, I am who I am, and I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be, and all like
Speak on that,
let
Kara.
that get you fired, people. Don't let that get you dumped, people. Don't let that have you broke.
Mm,
Like all this, look, I'm going to be my authentic self. And if you got an attitude problem, I don't care if it's your authentic self. Fix your attitude problem. You have a stank attitude, and I
it's
don't
not
care if
working for you.
it's organic and authentic to you. That's not, that is not serving you. That's not
Right,
others around you.
right,
So I
right.
think I have an issue with like right now this time period that we are in where I hear it almost every day where people are trying to be so true to themselves that there really is
Almost.
not a lot of room for growth. So I think when you want to be true to yourself, you need to be true to your best self, to the self that you want to write the affirmation of who you manifest yourself to be,
Mm-hmm.
um, not who you are today,
Yeah.
because you are a flawed individual. You are all flawed individuals, and sometimes I think that when I hear, particularly my sisters talking about and my brothers talking about, like, this is just who I am, and I'm gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's wonderful in theory, and great. That I'm happy that you want to be you,
Mm-hmm.
but
How's
get
that working out for you?
yeah, leave some room, leave some space for
Yeah,
growth.
for growth, right? Because
Space.
everybody, I don't care how old you are, everybody has room. There is. You're never. It's never too late to like work on yourselves. And yeah, it's easy to say, people are stuck in your ways, but if it's not working out for you, and if you're hurting the people that you love, and the people that you love are telling you
Yeah,
how you're moving or how you're talking to me or how you're behaving is hurting me, and you're still like, but that's who I am.
yeah.
We gotta fix that. We gotta stop that.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. Don't try. Stop being your authentic self all the time.
Authenticity is all right, but
Keep it all in perspective. Keep it all in balance. Yeah.
Krishna says there's a huge in caps difference in being your authentic self and having an attitude. Authenticity comes with knowing you will grow. Exactly. You will change. And that's done through learning. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think a lot of people confuse what those definitions are these
Mhm.
days. I mean, I hear the
Well,
confusion.
I think that's the world of social media, right? You hold on to a saying and it just catches on without even digging into the true meaning of
Yeah.
what does that really mean?
Yeah. You're right. And I also say, like, get an accountability object. For me, it was a seashell. And for Tamara, it was her picture of her friend named Kat, who passed away of cancer. And I think, like, in your moments where you may not always be able to call, Carrie Ann or your friend, or there are some moments at the deepest, darkest hours of when you want to self sabotage that you may not even want to talk to anyone.
Mhm.
An accountability object is key. And that is something that when I'm going through an emotional turmoil and I'm struggling, I really go to that accountability object and think about what that means.
Mhm.
Because as someone who does not always, as you know, want to talk about my pain or my hurt in that moment,
Mhm.
I needed more than just an accountability person.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
needed an object that was symbolic of pause, that was symbolic of the breath, that was symbolic of the reset, of the, intention behind who I wanted to be. And it was really important for me that I found that and I put it in a place that was easily accessible for me to see. Um, and it was important to do that.
Why seashell?
So when I was thinking about discovering my accountability object, I wanted to find something that I found at a place that made me feel most free.
Mm,
And the ocean is what I look at the world. I mean, the ocean is so beautiful for me. It's my happy place, but
mhm,
it also is a very dangerous place. I
mhm,
mean, when you think about what's in the ocean, there are ferocious creatures in the ocean. There are dangerous conditions in the ocean, similar to the world, and um, similar to life. In my life, in particular, the world is a dangerous place, and my actions and my place in this world and my self sabotage can be very dangerous to myself and to others.
mhm.
So I found my accountability object at the place that I resonated with, which was the ocean. And it was the seashell, because I can listen to the ocean and be reminded of the consequences and the implications of my poor choices and my actions.
Mm,
A sobering reminder to think and to really figure out what outcome I want to achieve, and how I can best achieve that outcome.
that's super dope. That's super dope. You guys, Kara, let everyone know how they can find you, how they can find your book outside of the Vitamin Inbox, because if you want the book for March, definitely go to the vitamininbox.com to subscribe, but let everyone know how they can find you.
It's only available in the vitamin Ember. No,
Exclusive. No.
exclusive. No, if you go to Amazon.com and you search my name, Kara Sax, or you search Your Win Within, we should pop right up. Please support us.
Yes.
We just got in stock the physical copies of the book.
Woo! Can't
So we
wait.
were initially just on Kindle, but we are ready to ship out. And I encourage anybody who ever wants to talk about this to hit me on socials. I'm at Kara C Sax, my whole name, on Instagram, with anything that they want to talk about, or even sometimes, I want to be open in my approach with this book. I love
Yeah.
to be challenged. So I appreciate the comment about intention, and
Mm-hmm.
that's important. I think that these are
Yeah.
all really important for us to stretch ourselves on our own concepts and our own theories. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
find me, let's talk about it.
We can all learn from each other, right? Because we all have different experiences. And um, yeah, that's Christian. You met Christian is my Grits and Porridge podcast co-host. So you guys have already met. She's also I say I have shouldn't say that, but I have a lot of brilliant people around me. But you and Krishna are like my top sought out counsel.
I appreciate that. You're our most problematic. Oh, wow. I have great deals
The
with him.
problem child, always the problem child. That's why y'all love me.
Just kidding.
Once again, I am talking to Kara Sax, the CEO of the Sax Agency, co-author of Your Win Within. You can find her on Instagram, Kara C. Sax. Um, her and Tamara Keller's book, Your Win Within, will be in the March box. The March box is an ode to Black women. And yes, show it again for the people. As you can see, it's an amazing book. You guys will get a lot of gems. This interview was just a snippet. So go to the vitaminmbox.com. We have subscriptions available. Subscribe, join our newsletter. You join our newsletter, you get free shipping on your first book. So check us out. YouTube channel is up. You can find us on YouTube, the Vitamin M Suite. So all of our past behind the box interviews, as well as this one, will be up. So definitely check out that. check out the saxagency.com. Look to see all the work they are doing, and man, the waves they are making in that industry. Yeah, and your win within, yourwinwithin.com. Also, you have that website. What else we got? What else we got for them?
don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I don't have much else. I have a pin that says you're winning within in a notebook that I might also ship to the box.
Kara, thank you so
Well.
thank you so much. And I gotta say, Kai and Chloe did a great job.
Yeah, because I gave them that look. Like they knew that if they would have self-sabotaged.
We gotta work on your godson because he ain't mastered the understanding of that look yet.
Because your pimp ain't strong enough.
But he's doing pretty well though. He's watching his Sonic. He's doing good.
He is. Alone.
And I'm sure after this, he's gonna ask me to send you his drawings, to text you his drawings. So,
of course, I'm talking smack. My kids don't respect me at all. They're somewhere upstairs. They're just in the bath or something like that.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching Behind the Box tonight. I was chopping it up with Kara Sax. Thank you, Kara. I love you, love you, love you. You know that. And this was definitely an honor and very special. I cannot wait for people to get their hands on this book, and I'm so proud of you.
You too. I mean, it's nothing better than to build and climb with your circle and your friends, and it just feels like that. It feels like, you know, watching. It's contagious. So thank you for giving me your success cold.
Oh man. And thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Krishna, Khadija. I see you. You left some comments, being our cheerleaders tonight. Once again, Behind the Box with Kara Sax. Check out the YouTube channel and check out the saxagency.com and check out Joe's Ali Croft though. Thank you, Kara. Have a great night. Kiss my babies for me.
I will. Thank you. Ooh, send that to me, Jones.
I draw this.
Send that to me in my text, please.
And
text it to her.
And Daddy draw this.
Tell your dad yours is far better.
No, mine is better.
He knows.
All
right, honey. Love you. Have a great night. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you. Have a good one.